imagine creating AI faceless videos like this.
Shh! Do you hear that? That deep rumble? Look, we're in the presence of the apex predator of the Cretaceous period. Stay low, stay close to me. She's not too far from us now. She's massive, probably over 12 meters from nose to tail, weighing at least 7 tons. Come on, we might see her if we move carefully. That's her! Look at her moving. It's like watching a living fortress. She isn't just a predator. She's the queen of this entire ecosystem.
I made this using only AI tools, and videos in this niche specifically about prehistoric or extinct animals tend to get hundreds of thousands of views and earn thousands of dollars. And my AI video is 10 times more creative than the other faceless videos in this niche. And trust me, no one else is showing you how to do it like this, but the best part is you can do it too because it's easy if you watch this complete video. So the first thing that you need to do is get ideas for what you'll be making your video about, which extinct or prehistoric animal. So in order to do this, you'd come on over to ChatGPT, and then you're going to simply ask for this prompt: list the most popular extinct animals. Now, as you can see, ChatGPT has gone ahead to give us a pretty lengthy list that we could choose from. And if you think it's too short or you don't find anything that you like, you could always ask it to give you more. So from here, you just want to choose the animal that you would want to make your video about. So in my case, I'll go with the classic T-Rex. Then the next thing you need to do is get the script for your video. In order to do this, you can go ahead to ask it for this prompt. Also, feel free to access all the prompts that I use in my video in the link in the description for completely free in a Notion document where I continuously update it. So the prompt goes like this: give me a 3-minute YouTube video. There you would include the time you want, whether that's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, for the story of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is where you'll put the animal that you chose, written in the first person perspective present tense in the sense of wilderness exploration. This is just where you would say how you would want your story to be written. And then I say talk about what it is, what it does, its life, and its extinction. Writes it all as if it were happening and I just saw a sighting and I'm bringing someone else along with me, explain it to them. Again, this is me just explaining how I would want my video to be created. If you don't want yours to be created like this, you could say something completely different. And then I said write it in 100% Spartan, which essentially just means do not put any frilly language, just write it straight, simple, plain English to the point. And then something else that I want to add into my prompt in this case is do not add gore or violent scenes. That's because specifically with typical animals which were carnivores, sometimes the script could give you some pretty violent scenes, and just me personally, I don't want it. If you don't care, you can go for it. After this, all you need to do is click enter. Now, as you can see, ChatGPT has gone ahead to create our entire script for us. But if you pay attention, you'll notice it has given us the camera angles and the different scenes. We don't want this. We want just the straight script. So you could go ahead to tell it this: extract script as plain paragraphs, and hit enter. Now from here, I recommend you read through your script to ensure that you like it, make any changes that you would need. You could do this manually or even ask ChatGPT to do this. And then once you have your script exactly the way you want it, what I will need you to do is go ahead to copy your whole script, and then you want to write the script somewhere that you could save it for later. Now I have created my own storyboarding notes in Notion that you could access for free, link in the description. You could use this so that you could follow along with my video, but what you'd want to do is where it says script, simply paste in your script, and again, once you have it in there, now you can manually go through and edit things that you would want till you have your script exactly the way you would want it to be. From here, the next thing that you'd want to do is go ahead to ask ChatGPT this prompt. Again, you'll find all the prompts in the link in the description below. This prompt essentially asks ChatGPT to pull out the characters and the different settings mentioned in the video, because this will make it easier for you later on when you need to actually generate the video, when you know where it's taking place, who will be in the story. It just helps you keep things way more organized and make things 10 times easier for you. So the prompt says, write me the individuals and settings for this YouTube script, which is about a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Here you would insert your own script topic, and then it says give me all the characters in one sentence, each including the name, physical appearance, description, and then I said a bit about the description, and the settings are seen descriptions in one sentence each, only including the time, location, and weather. Hit enter. And now as you can see, ChatGPT has gone ahead to give us the characters and the settings for our video. And something I like to do is ask it for this prompt, which says the character should be the tour guide, which would be the person who's actually there with us, and then the companion, which is simply the camera's perspective. So I don't need a second individual character. It's only these two. Depending on what you're generating, you may actually want to have two different characters plus the camera angle. But once you have your characters and your settings, what you need to do is copy your characters, come back on over to the Notion, again linked in the description, and paste them in. Come back over to ChatGPT, copy your scene/settings, come back over to the Notion document and paste this in. Now from here, you have the first set of groundwork for your video all laid out in front of you. From here, it's onto phase 2, which is now beginning to get the information to generate the actual images for your video, the scenes. In order to do this, you want to go ahead to ask it for this prompt. Again, link in the description. It says generate the scene prompt description for every scene line in the script, ensuring one distinct action/visual per line. Using this prompt format, and then this is the precise prompt format which will help you actually create the videos later on. And then I just explained what the shot type is, and that the description should include specific details about the subject, action, and location, ensuring a consistent flow between shots. And then each shot should visually build on the previous one to create a seamless cinematic narrative. And then here where it says paste script, you want to take this out, come back over to your Notion doc where your script is, you're going to copy it, come back on over to ChatGPT, and then you're just going to paste it in. And then where it says here are the settings information, you're going to take this out, you're going to copy the characters, paste this in, and then where it says camera's perspective, I'm going to change that to camera's point of view, and then I'm going to say the settings, come back on over to Notion, copy it, come back to ChatGPT and paste this in, and then hit enter. And now as you can see, ChatGPT has gone ahead to give us all the scenes and the prompts that we'll be using to create the images for its part of the script. Now I know you see it hasn't mentioned the sections of the script that it created the prompt for. If this may make it a tad bit more difficult for you, you could say this: give the line by line of the scripts each prompt refers to, hit enter, and now you get a little bit of a better understanding of which sections of your script relate to which specific image prompts. This is optional, you don't have to do this if you're okay with the previous version. Now from here, you need to generate the reference images that you're going to be using later on to actually generate the video. So in order to do this, what you want to do is ask ChatGPT this prompt: generate all the images for the above YouTube video scene prompts with a 16:9 aspect ratio, keep the characters and scenes extremely consistent, and create an ultra photorealistic cinematic image for every scene line, and hit enter. Now ChatGPT has gone ahead to generate us the first image. Now if we take a look at this, let's just clarify, was this the image that we wanted? So take a look at this. Let's go clarify. The first image was supposed to be a tour guide crouching in the low misty forest, his green eyes scanning the dense jungle filled with towering ferns and conifers. Yep, that seems right to me. So in order to generate the next image, all you would need to do is tell ChatGPT to continue, then it would go ahead to generate the next image for us. Again, let's clarify. Is this image accurate? The lush forest in the clearing in the early morning with the cool mist around the trees, and as we saw earlier, it did quite that. You simply want to just keep telling ChatGPT to continue generating your images till you have all your reference images created. This takes nothing out of you to keep copying and pasting the word continue. And now from here, once you've created all of your images, as you can see, I have all of them created. What you need to do is organize your files and store them somewhere so that you could see them all in a more visual storyboard formatting. So in order to do this, what you'd want to do is download the image, preferably the first one, and then you want to scroll up to the prompt, and then you're simply going to copy it. Then you're going to come on over to the storyboarding visual Notion. Again, I'll link it in the description below. You can access it for completely free, and then you want to click where it says new page, and then you want to put scene number, so this will be scene number 1, and then where it says prompt, you could paste in the prompt. If you have a lyric or line, you could paste that in. If you have a synopsis description, you could paste that in. So you utilize whichever one you have, and then where it says add an image, you're going to click to add the image that you downloaded from ChatGPT. And then once that's done, you're simply going to click out of it. Now you'll be able to see your video coming together visually, and you want to go back and forth from ChatGPT and keep doing this till you have all your images and prompts inserted into this document. And then once you're done with this, if you take a look here, I can see my entire video from start to finish, and I have the exact prompts that I'm going to use. Now this part is completely optional. You can go ahead to use the scenes directly from ChatGPT, but the reason why I like to do it out like this is because let's just say perhaps you may not work on this entire video in one day. Having it in one area like this allows so that you could come back and continue working on it whenever time allows you to. Like I said, the choice is yours. Now I do want you to keep in mind that not all scenes are perfect. If you take a look at this one, this is supposed to simply show the tour guide, but as you can see, the dinosaur is in the background. So you do have to note, well, ChatGPT will not always generate perfect images. This is why we're only using these images as references. They do not need to be perfect because you're actually going to generate the real images afterwards following the next step. Now, I do want you guys to note something. If you're happy with the ChatGPT images and this is how you want to go about using it, you can do so. I do not recommend it, but the choice is up up to you. But now that this is done, we could move on to the next step, which is actually generating the images and bringing this video to life. Now, in order to generate your images, what you want to do is come on over to Midjourney. You could find a link for it in the description below. Now, once on Midjourney, what you would need to do is generate your first image. Now, how you'll go about doing this is this, and trust me, it's very easy as long as you followed all the previous steps. What you want to do is head back on over to your storyboard, and again, you want to find your first image and also your first prompt. You'll go ahead to copy this prompt and your first image. Coming back on over to Midjourney, where ensure that you are where it says create. It says what will you imagine. You want to paste in the prompts, and then what you need to do is locate that image from your storyboard in your downloads folder, and then you're simply just going to drag it into the prompt box here, and it's now going to be dropped into this section. And then what you want to do is you want to click that little image icon to use it as a reference image. And then once you have this in, you want to go ahead to edit your prompt a little bit so that it fits better in terms of Midjourney. So I'll go ahead to remove the brackets, and then I'm going to change this to say close-up shots, and then I'm going to move the width of the, so it'll say close-up shot of tour guide crouching low, so it describes exactly what it is. Then from here, I want to properly explain the location, so I'll go back onto our storyboarding notes where we had the settings, and then I'm going to copy the description of our location, come back over to Midjourney, paste this in, then I'm going to go back to the storyboard, and then I'm going to go ahead to copy the description of our tour guide, come back to Midjourney, paste it in, and then I'm going to say the tour guide so it knows who we're describing, who we're referencing. And then here I'm going to remove the portion about his boots, because if we keep this in, Midjourney is going to now display his boots. We don't want to see his boots because we want it to follow this reference image. From here, an important thing you need to do is tell Midjourney the style you'd want the image to be generated in. So for me, what I went ahead to do is go ahead to Google and simply ask, what camera is nature documentary shot in? And then from Google, it went ahead to tell me this is the camera that typically these types of documentary style videos are shot in. So you could ask it for whatever style you're going for, or you don't have to input a style at all. This is completely optional. So I'll simply go ahead to add this to the end of my prompt, which is in the style of, with the camera that we got from Google. Now from here, I could keep my prompt just like this and hit enter. But for those of you who may be a little bit more advanced in Midjourney, or for those of you who want to be, something you can do is type in this -- IW, which means image weight, and then put 0.5. This equally balances the prompt with the reference image so that it will use this image as a reference for pretty much just the overall positioning of this image, and then also take our prompt into consideration. Now, you don't have to do this. If you don't do this, you'll still get a pretty good image. But if you want to learn more about how exactly you can get your images very precise utilizing these end lines, then I recommend you sign up to my community waitlist. So I'm simply going to hit enter, and just to show you guys what it would look like if you do not use this ending part, I'm going to regenerate it but without the image weight reference. Now that it's done, if you take a look at these 4 options it's first given us, as you can see, we have a variety of different shots. Now this is equally balancing the prompt with the image reference using our image weight parameter. And now without the image reference, as you can see, they all look pretty similar. I would say the only difference is we have a bit more variety here. Doing it with or without it doesn't really change. The parameters only get very helpful when you're trying to do very specific things. So now you see that it doesn't matter. Don't feel scared about this. But once you've looked at the images, I recommend you select the one that you like the most. So once you've picked the image you like, you can simply click onto it and then click where it says download. And then what I recommend you do is come back on over to your storyboarding, and then we'll go ahead to select our first scene, and where it says the second add an image, you're going to then go ahead to add in the image that you just downloaded from Midjourney, which is now the proper image. You see the clear difference in our 2 images. This one doesn't look bad, but this one has the more realistic look that we're going for. And now if you want, you could simply swap them like this. So now you'd have your better image displayed as the first one. Now in order to generate the second scene, you'd follow quite the same thing, but there's a little bit difference to it. So pay attention to this. What you'd want to do is copy the prompt like you did the first time. Come back on over to Midjourney. In the prompt box, you paste it in just like we did. You make the changes as you're going along. And then we're going to go back on over to our storyboarding notes, and again, as we did before, copy the location, paste it in, and then we're going to delete the parts that we don't need so it's not redundant. Again, reference in our storyboard, it should look something like this. And then we'll do the same thing as last time. We would locate this image on our PC and bring it right here to the prompt box. And then you need to add in your camera style, so we'll say the same thing as we did before in the style of the Sony camera. The important difference that you need to take into consideration is we're still going to use this as our image prompt, and then I'm going to just put the image weight as I did before as 0.50. Again, you don't have to do this. You saw the difference. Doesn't make too much of a difference. And then the important thing you need to do is you're going to grab onto the image that you decided to use for your first scene, and then you're also going to drop it into the prompt box. But what you're going to do differently here is rather than using it as an image reference, which you see the image icon here, you're going to use it as a style reference, which is the paperclip. So this is going to copy the same overall style that you have in this image so that it doesn't look too different. Because if we go back on over to our ChatGPT images, all of these images look very different from each other style-wise. You can also add in a parameter for this by saying SW being style weight. For example, something like a style weight of 50. Now the default is 100, but play around with this and set it at different numbers and see which one that you prefer. So I'm going to go ahead to hit enter just so that I can make you guys see the difference. I'm going to go ahead to do this, but only using the image weight, and I will not use any style weight parameters. Hit enter. So this is what the image looked like with the style reference set to 50, and then this is what it looks like without any style reference set into it. I'm sure you cannot really tell the difference that much, so like I said, it does not affect things too much. But now our images are now generated in the same style as this image that we wanted it to be. So as you did before, you would find the one that you prefer, then you're going to download it as you did before, come on back over to Notion, and then just as you did before, you're going to replace it into the clip. And I'm going to bring it now to the top. And you want to keep doing this again for your other images. Now I'm going to generate one more image on screen, which is important. You need to see this to know how to handle this type of situations so that you'll be able to generate the rest of your video smoothly. And the one I'm going to generate is scene number 3. So just as we did before, I'm going to go ahead to copy our prompts, come back on over to Midjourney, and then I'm going to paste it in. I'm going to edit the beginning of it as I did the other 2 times. The next thing I'm going to do is going back over to our storyboard section, and then I'm going to get the description of the tour guide. And you want to keep this because you want it to be consistent as it's always been. I'm just going to say the tour guide has so now it understands who I'm referring to, who I'm describing. And then I'm going to go back to Notion and copy the setting, and then I'm going to paste it in. So I'll say the forests is in the, and then here I'm going to add of the forest. So you always want to give Midjourney the understanding and referencing of what you're talking about. So here I'm mentioning the forest, and then later on I'm going to explain the forest. Here I'm mentioning it's a shot of a tour guide. So now I'm going to go and explain what the tour guide looks like. So now from here you need to follow the steps as before. So the first step, add in the reference image from your storyboard visual and ensure you have image selected. So I'm going to go ahead to give it an image weight of again 5, and then the next thing you need to do yet again is take in your reference style, which again is the first image we used, and ensure you have the style icon selected. And lastly, the important thing you need to do is get your character reference. You could have some character consistency in your video. Now in order to do this, we would use the same image because it was the reference one we used, and as you could see, it's the same image here. So what you need to do from here is you need to not only select the style, but you need to select this character icon. So if you click the character icon, you notice the style one has been deselected. In order to select 2 of them, you need to hold shift on your spacebar and then click it. So now they're both selected. So now not only are we using this for its style, we're also using this for the character. If you had your character as a different image, for example, let's say it was this one, you would simply add it in and then use this as the character reference. I'm going to set it to 45. You don't have to do this, but what I do want you to make very good notes of, if you do CW0, you're saying you want the character weight to be 0, which means it's only going to take into consideration the face of the individual. Now, if you say CW100, use this if it's the same day, same time, same location, because it's going to take everything the same. It's going to take the face, the outfit, everything. It may be best to use character 100, but sometimes this makes it a bit stiffer for Midjourney to really understand. So you'd really have to play around with this and see which number works best for you. Or, like I said, don't use it at all, and then whatever it generates, you could use this. So I'm going to go ahead to hit enter now that that's done. Again, to show you the difference, I'm going to copy our setting, but I'm going to now set the character weight to be 0, and then I'm going to copy the settings yet again, but this time I'm not going to even put the character weights, so you could see if there's any difference. This is where the character weight is set to 100. As you could see, he's wearing the same outfit, same shirt, same hat, same backpacks. It's all exactly the same. Now, if you take a look at this one where the character weight is set to 0, everything is not entirely the same. The hat is a bit different color, different sizes, clothing is a tad bit different. And then this is the default where we just didn't put character weights. As you could see here, the hat is similar enough, but it's a bit different. Same with the clothing and everything else. So this one has given us the closest option. The only issue is we want him to be standing. We want it to follow the reference image a bit more. So you see, it will not always be perfect. So now you'd have to edit this. So I can go ahead to just click on all the settings so it has it all yet again. And I could emphasize a full body shot and remove the word moves and say as he walks. And then I could emphasize maybe, for example, the color of his boots so that I can force Midjourney to again generate his full body. So now let's try hit enter and see what we receive. Or if something like this doesn't work, then you can increase the image weight reference parameter. So rather than it being 0.5, I can perhaps put it at 1.5. Let's see what that would generate. Now, as you can see here, when I edited the prompt, it got us a bit closer to what we wanted. See, we now have more of his body, but it's still not his full body. It's still not close enough to the reference image. So over here, where I increased the image weight to be 1.5, now we have more of his full body. We have a better action. But notice, we have the dinosaur in the background because it is now relating even closer to the reference image of the dinosaur. We don't want this. We don't want this there at all. What would be the perfect way to do this prompt to not have the dinosaur would be this. You have your prompt, you have your image reference, your character reference, your style reference. We know we want character weight to be 100 and image weight to be about 1.5. This is what you want to do. You want to now add in a no parameter to say no dinosaur. And how you do it is like this. No, and then I would say dinosaur in the background. This way I'm telling it, do not put anything in the background, even though it is in the reference image. And now let's hit enter. And now it has been generated. We now have our character. He's walking better through the forest. He looks quite similar to what our main person looks like. Now don't be too sad if it doesn't. If you want, you can go more in depth with image character references, but I don't want to focus on this too much now because then it might make it a bit too complicated for you guys, but doing it this way works just as well. And then you would follow the same steps. You would get all your images, download them, and then replace the old images with the new ones. And then once you've done with generating all of your images, if I go ahead to take a look to my Notion, as you can see, I now have my new storyline, and as you can see, everything flows and it looks quite perfect. And I know that you notice that now our character looks consistent all around. If you take a notice in the first scene, we did generate our first image, which was the reference image. And what I did to get our character's face that we kept getting consistently, as you could see here, I took the same exact prompt that we used for the first prompt, but then I used a screenshot of our character's face as a character reference, which is what I showed you earlier, and regenerated the exact same image for us, but it just smacked this face on him so it looked more consistent. Like I said, once you have all your images done, you can now be able to see your complete video from start to finish in a Notion. Now, if you didn't want to use the Notion method, you can just go ahead to within Midjourney, heart the images that you like. So when you go on over to organize, and if you ensure that you filtered by likes, you'd be able to see all your favorites and images through here, so you could access them through here. But like I said, the choice is up to you. So now that you have all of your clips done, the next thing you need to do is now change all of the images into videos. This part is very simple. In order to do this, what you want to do is come on over to Kling AI. I'll leave the link for it in the description below. And once on Kling AI, you want to go to where it says AI videos. You want to ensure that you have image to video selected, and what you want to do is click here and locate the first image in your storyboard, which would be this one. And then here, this is the prompt section. This is optional. You do not need to utilize this. If you do, you can give more specifics of how you would want the image generation to look. If not, it will go ahead to just use its own discretion to generate the image for you. And going back on over to my storyboard, I know that the tour guide is supposed to be crouching low, piercing green eyes, scanning the jungle. Okay, so he's scanning the jungle. So the best way to go about writing the prompt is first setting the camera movement. So I want it to be handheld because again, I want it to look like it's from a person's perspective. And then I'll say the man looks around with serious face. And then I'll simply go ahead to click generate. Now you don't have to wait for this to continue because if you keep waiting 3 minutes to generate one by one, this will simply take forever. I would say immediately what you need to do is begin generating the second image. So it's simply delete the first one, locate the second one that you generated, which should be this one, and then adjust your prompt. I'm going to keep it to the handheld shot, and then I'll go ahead to take a look at what my storyboard in visual said, and it's just supposed to be the forest, cool mist hovering among the trees. I'll just simply keep this to handheld hell shot and let Kling do whatever it wants, make the trees move somehow. Click generate, and now my second image would be generated. You'll simply just go back and forth, inserting the images, adjusting your prompt, taking a look at what you have in your storyboard till you have all of your videos done. And then once all of your videos are done generating, you need to download them. So in order to download them, for example, let's take a look at this one. I actually really like this one. See how he hangs onto the tree? The movement is quite realistic. But in order to download it, what you'd want to do is hover over the download button and ensure that you have download without watermark selected. And then you want to go ahead and download all of your videos. Then the next thing you want to do is generate the voiceover for your video. So in order to do this, what you want to do is come on over to 11 Labs. You could find the link for it in the description below. And once on 11 Labs, going into where it says voices, what you want to do is search through all the voices till you find the one that you would want to use for your video. And then once you found the one that you want to use, you can go ahead to select use. And then from here, what I recommend you do is go over to where it says projects. And then you want to click where it says start from scratch. Keep all the settings the same and hit create. And then in the corner here, you want to select the voice that you chose. So mine is David. And then you want to come back on over to the Notion where you have your entire script. You want to copy it all. Come back onto 11 Labs, paste it in. In this section, you're able to generate long sections of audios and have it sound good. If you use a regular text-to-speech section, once you generate more than about 500 characters, it starts to sound a bit weird. I found that using the projects, my voices tend to sound good. And then let's go ahead to hit play to see what it sounds like.
Shh! Do you hear that? That deep rumble, is that? No, it's not thunder. It's her. Look. We're in the presence of the apex predator of the Cretaceous period.
So you can keep editing and hitting the play button over and over to just see and listen to see if you like how these different audios sound, and carefully go through this entire thing till you have it the way you want it to sound like. And then once you're done ensuring that your voiceover and your script is the way you like it, you need to properly download it. So in order to download it, all you need to do is click where it says convert project. Click convert project. It's going to tell you how much credits you're going to use. Ensure that you have auto regenerate on. This will ensure that if there's any issues such as skipping over its words, such as pronouncing things wrong, it'll regenerate it 2 times free of charge so that your audio can become to the best quality. So from here, all you need to do is click where it says convert all. And then once it's done, you'll be able to download your voiceover by simply clicking download, and then the entire voiceover will be downloaded to your computer. From here, what you want to do is come on over to your favorite video editor tool. In my case, I'm using DaVinci Resolve, and then you want to upload all the media that you just downloaded from Kling, which is the videos, and the voiceover that you just downloaded from 11 Labs. And then once you have all your media added in, the first thing you need to do is add your voiceover track to your scene. And then from here, you could add in your media one by one in the correct order that they should be. So if we simply go back on over to our storyboard, we know that this one is supposed to be our first scene. So we can locate it in our images. Here it is, drag and drop it, and now we have the first one. So you can simply go back and forth referencing your storyboard visual and then adding in the scenes where they belong. So once that's done, the next thing you need to do is add in some background music to your video. In order to do this, you want to come on over to Upbeat.io. I'll leave the link for it in the description below, and you can just do a simple search for nature documentary music, and then you want to listen to all the different sounds and then choose the one that you want to use in your video. When you found the one that you want to use, in order to download it, you just need to click download and it'll be downloaded to your computer. From here, you'll go back to your video editor, and then you'll input the downloaded music audio file and add it to your video. Then I'll go ahead to just adjust the starting point since there was no music here. And then I recommend you also adjust the volume so that it's not overpowering the video. So something like -35 seems to work well. And then once that's done, your video is pretty much coming together a bit more. But what I suggest you do is come on back over to Upbeat.io, and then I suggest you search for different sound effects that you can add into your video to make it even more engaging. So for example, at this point when the meteorite hits here, I can see if I can find an asteroid sound effect on 11 Labs. So if I go ahead to search asteroid and go to SFX, I can go ahead to download this one, come back over to my editor, import the sound, and now if I simply add it in where the asteroid hits, so now like this.
Asteroid. It hits the ground. It's shaking.
Now this makes my video look better. Of course, you want to adjust the sound effect so it's not too loud, so something like a -15 typically works. And then you just want to keep adding in sound effects throughout your video, which really makes it 10 times more engaging. And now finally, the thing that sets these videos off from all the rest is the facial movements. Because rather than having just a general facial movement, what if we can make it in sync? Well, are you ready to be an actor or an actress? Because this part is the really fun part. It's actually the part I enjoy quite the most. In order to get him to actually to say this script, all I need to do is come on over to Runway ML. They have this new feature called Act 1. You can find the link for it in the description below. And then once you're on the page for Act 1, what you need to first do is upload the video that you'd want to make talk. So in order to do this, I'm going to click where it says upload. And now that my video is uploaded in, what I now need to do is click where it says start recording. And then I'm going to click allow this time to allow it to record my camera. And as you can see me here, this is where you get to display your acting skills. So I'm going to click record and I'm going to say exactly what the script is saying whilst doing some facial expressions in the exact same timing of the script. So I recommend you go back to listen to your audio. So I'll go back to give it a listen. Shh. Do you hear that? That deep rumble? Okay, quite perfect. I'm going to come back on over to Runway. I'm going to take my glasses off so that I could really get my facial features. And then I'm going to hit play. Okay guys, now take a look at my A1 performance. I think my performance was great. So then I'm simply going to click where it says use this. Then it's going to import my video as the driving video. Now all that's left for me to do is hit where it says generate. And now Runway will begin actually generating my acting video for me. Okay, so now that it's done, let's take a look at what it looks like. And again, let's look at my clip to verify. Shh. Do you hear that? That deep rumble? Look. And at the ending, I did laugh at myself because I tried to really make my voice sound like a guy. It didn't work. But let's see, did it get it right? Let's take a look now. Shh. Do you hear that? That deep rumble? Look. That is absolutely insane. Do not tell me you guys aren't impressed by this. But the funniest thing is it did take out the ending scene when I was even laughing. So that's just to show you this is absolutely game-changing and incredible. So in order to add it into your video, what you want to do is click at the bottom here where it says download. Then you're going to import it into your scene. Now from here, what you want to do is get simply the video. And now you want to just replace the previous video with this new video, but you need to align it so that the talking is in sync with the original audio. We will not be using my voiceover. See, now let's take a look.
Shh. Do you hear that? That deep rumble?
If we were to simply compare to what it looks like before.
Shh. Do you hear that? That deep rumble? Look.
Like I said, no one is teaching you it like this. And from here, you can go ahead to act out for multiple different clips as you feel needed to make your video more engaging.
Shh. Do you hear that? That deep rumble? Look. We're in the presence of the apex predator of the Cretaceous period. Stay low, stay close to me. She's not too far from us now. Look at this, a footprint. She's massive, probably over 12 meters from nose to tail, weighing at least 7 tons. Come on, we might see her if we move carefully. Wait, there! Do you see that tail swaying above the trees? That's her! Look at her moving. It's like watching a living fortress. She isn't just a predator. She's the queen of this entire ecosystem. Her eyes, they're forward-facing, like ours, perfect for locking onto prey. And her sense of smell? It's razor sharp. She can pick up a scent from miles away. She's not hunting right now. Watch her stride, slow, deliberate. She's conserving energy. She's not just a hunter. She's a scavenger, too. She'll eat anything she can find. Look closely, see the scars on her face. Those are trophies of battles fought and survived. She fights for territory, for food, for survival. Everything out here is a struggle. Wait, stop, look up. What is that? Do you see it? Something's streaking across the sky. It's glowing, getting brighter. That's an asteroid. It hits the ground. It's shaking. I can barely stay standing. The air, it's burning. Look at the horizon. The trees are collapsing. Fire is racing toward us. A wall of dust and ash is rising, swallowing everything in its path. The sky, it's turning red, then black. The sun is gone. Everything is suffocating. The animals are scattering. The T-Rex, she's still moving, still searching. But there's no food, no light, no water. This world, it's collapsing in front of us. And then Silence. Nothing moves. Nothing lives. The earth is barren. The mighty dinosaurs, gone. This is how it ends. No roar, no fight, just an empty earth.
From here, all you need to do is download your video and upload it to your YouTube channel and begin getting your views. Now, of course, when you're doing this, you want to make your scripts longer, you want to make your videos more in detail, but this was just a general way for me to show you how to do this method. This entire full free course with this brand new method, I just gave it all to you guys for completely free. And you don't only have to make content for this niche, you can make content for a bunch of other niches too. So please use this method and tag me in the videos. Then now tell me that that wasn't exciting. If you want to know more of these tips and get results like this, and this that my students are getting with their channels, Faceless or even channels with face, then you definitely want to sign up for the waitlist for my community launching very soon. And as always, if you want to learn more from me, then you need to check out this other video on my channel.